Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening and welcome to News Talk with yours truly, Chris Inu, coming to you as usual from the great state of Texas, Houston, Texas, to be precise. Thank you for tuning in tonight. In this edition of the show, I take you to a town hall meeting that took place over the weekend in the diaspora involving Cameroon's opposition leader now living in exile, talking about Issa Tchiroma. We're going to be doing justice to that discussion that took place at the weekend. Of course, we cannot finish this show without talking about the absence of a leader in La République du Cameroon. I think it is over 55 days. 55 days. Today, that the leader of Cameroon, Paul Biya, has been out in Geneva and nobody knows what is happening to him. Everybody is afraid to declare a vacancy or incapacitation for the president. We are going to take a look at that too. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we're going to be discussing tonight. Stay put, and I will be right back in a few seconds, if not 1 minute. Stay put.
Have you noticed? The world is changing faster than ever before.
Artificial intelligence is transforming workplaces, creating new opportunities, and reshaping entire industries.
The question is no longer whether AI will impact your career. The question is, will you be ready? At Certified AI Academy, we're helping ordinary people gain extraordinary skills in just 8 weeks.
Unlike many programs that leave you alone with recorded videos, our classes are taught live by experienced instructors.
You will learn practical AI skills you can immediately apply at work, in business, or to launch a new career.
And we don't stop at training. We help with resume development, job search support, and connecting graduates with opportunities.
Many AI jobs today can be performed remotely from anywhere in the world.
Our next session begins July 24th. Seating is limited.
To enroll, text AI to 346-271-0711 or visit certifiedaiacademy.com.
All right, good evening once more and welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. If you are joining by way of YouTube, please do me the favor, go ahead and hit that bell or the notification button on your screen so that each time we are live, you are one of the first to receive notification about the show. Or go ahead and hit the subscribe button to be counted on board. And if you are also watching by Facebook, do the same. Hit the follow and subscribe button, and thank you once more for tuning in. A meeting took place in the diaspora at the weekend organized by Town Hall, the Southern Cameroon's Town Hall International, as they call it, and the chief guest was Issa Tchiroma, the man known widely to have won the October 2025 Cameroon presidential elections. And the meeting turned into what I will call a controversy over whether the pitch was for Ambazonians, the Southern Cameroons, a free and independent Southern Cameroons, or a one and indivisible Cameroon. And that constitutes the subject of my talking point tonight. But before I get there, I'd like to bring you some of the clips coming from that town hall last weekend. Listen, please.
Unless it's a wonderful opportunity for you guys to organize something like this. I remember the last time I participated was with late John Frundi, and there was a little bit of symbolism which he actually caught out. You know, you guys advertised the program as a Southern Cameroon program. When he came on, it was an Ambazonian type stuff from the flyers and stuff like that. I want to still bring that symbolism here because Southern Cameroon, I know we are an activist and pushing group that's trying to get our identity out there. So if our goal is political symbolism, then we are right to call Mr. Issa Tchiroma as the president-elect. If the goal is the Southern Cameroon's identity politics, it is right. But if the goal is civic education or legal clarity, it is not right to call him president-elect. If the goal is
towards the president-elect, besides asking him what his plans are for the Southern Cameroons and for Cameroon,
to have a chat with the president-elect of Cameroon, and I think you are taking the right direction, because right now people are looking for a way to engage on the important questions that affect the people of former British Southern Cameroons.
Side and the team around His Excellency was very, very gracious, very, very courteous.
To organize an event like this, to meet with the president-elect, actually it's historical, and I think we should always look at the positives.
Mr. Mutia, and thank you for the team. Unless it's a wonderful opportunity for you guys to organize something like this. Program as a Southern Cameroon program. I know we are an activist to get our identity out there. Politics, it is right. But if call him president-elect.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. It's so nice to see you. And we're all really pleased to know that you're in good health.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, did you hear the theme out there? Your Excellency, the President-elect, Speaker after Speaker. And I began to wonder, are we addressing, or were they addressing the President of Ambazonia, the Southern Cameroons, on the Southern Cameroons platform? That is the question lingering out there, what everybody is talking about out there. There are many of these montage that I will bring them in the course of the show. But please, before I do that, I'd like to bring you my monologue on this subject, and it is addressed mainly to the Federalists and the Independentists. Of course, that means every Southern Cameroonian who is talking about every Southern Cameroonian Ambazonian who is talking about independent. That is whom this monologue is addressed to. So give me a minute here to get that all ready, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, I have my panel here. After the monologue, my panel will come in to do justice to the discussion. All right, let me bring you the talking point. The Issa Tchiroma town hall held over the weekend left many Southern Cameroonians with one overwhelming conclusion. What was expected to be a town hall where the Ambazonian independence questions would boldly dominate the discussion from the outset, instead became what could only be described as a Federalist conclave. Let me be clear here. I have absolutely no objection to engaging anyone willing to listen to our cause. In fact, I have engaged both friends and fools, supporters and non-supporters of our cause on this platform more than anyone else through the course of the 10 years of the struggle. Dialogue is not betrayal. If Issa Tchiroma believes Southern Cameroonians, Ambazonians, deserve to be heard, then hosting him as a town hall did is not only legitimate, but necessary. Every political opportunity deserves careful consideration, and I applaud the very idea of the town hall organizers inviting Issa Tchiroma to speak. Nevertheless, I must quickly add that there is a huge difference between engaging someone and surrendering your political identity before negotiations have even begun. What made the town hall particularly unsettling was not just some of the answers from Issa Tchiroma. It was the repeated promotion of federalism and the language and posture adopted by some of its organizers. Time and again, Issa Tchiroma, as you heard, was introduced and addressed as President-elect. President-elect of both Cameroon and Ambazonia, or President-elect of what exactly? Words matter in politics. Political language reflects political conviction. And for individuals who stood beside Sisiko Ayoktabe during the declaration of Ambazonia's independence, to now preside over what has historically been regarded as an independence platform, while referring to a Cameroonian presidential aspirant as president-elect among Ambazonians, Southern Cameroonians, sends a deeply contradictory message. It projects not confidence in a declared national project, but a mentality of accommodation before negotiations have even commenced. The independence movement has never denied the existence of Federalists. They are part of the broader Southern Cameroon's political landscape, and they are entitled to advocate their preferred constitutional arrangement. But Federalists must also recognize one uncomfortable reality. Their project is fundamentally different from that of those fighting for independence. Yet, it remains a constitutional solution within the Cameroonian state. In that respect, Federalists are pursuing a different version of Cameroon rather than a different sovereign state, the Southern Cameroons, Ambazonia. That distinction matters. More importantly, Federalists must stop presenting federalism as though it is already guaranteed. As demonstrated during the town hall, one leaves every major gathering today with a make-believe that federalism has somehow become a consensus destination. Yet none of those in these meetings touting the idea has explained precisely what federalism means in the current Cameroonian context. Who has accepted it? Who has negotiated it? Or who has guaranteed its implementation? What type of federalism? 2-state federation? 10-state federation? The return to 1961 arrangement? A completely new constitutional architecture? Who is offering it? Who has signed onto it? Where are the guarantees? These questions are rarely answered. Instead, federalism is increasingly spoken of as though merely mentioning it somehow resolves a decade-long conflict. Of course, it doesn't. Independentists, by contrast, have been remarkably consistent. Forget about their dispersed ranks. For 10 years, they have clearly defined their political objective: the restoration of the independence of the Southern Cameroons, which they call Ambazonia. Whether one agrees with that objective or not, no one man honestly claims not to understand what they are fighting for. Can the Federalist movement honestly say the same? Of course not. At virtually every public meeting, familiar voices, women's voices in particular, emerged, often appealing emotionally to the suffering of our people. They speak of children out of school. They speak of the unemployed youth. They displaced families and destroyed communities. Their conclusion is almost always the same. Let us simply settle for federalism, they say. No one disputes the suffering of our people. But emotion cannot replace political clarity. Can you tell us who exactly has guaranteed that federalism is on the table? Who has guaranteed that Yaoundé has conceded to it? What exact federal model are Southern Cameroonians being asked to endorse by the apostles of federalism? Without answers to these questions, asking an entire people to rally behind federalism is like inviting passengers onto a plane without telling them its destination, without telling them who its pilot is, or whether it even has enough fuel to land. That is not strategy. It is wishful thinking. This brings me to what I consider the greatest challenge facing the independence movement itself. Independentists spend enormous amounts of time criticizing Federalists. Social media overflows with denunciations, arguments, and ideological battles. Yet when the conversation shifts from rhetoric to organization, from outrage to sacrifice, the room suddenly becomes quiet. You enter meetings like town halls. Everyone wants to be a strategist. Everyone wants to be an expert. Everyone seeks recognition as a leader. Very few want to sacrifice. We must end that culture. The current political uncertainty inside La République du Cameroon presents one of the most significant crossroads in decades. If ever there were a moment for genuine independentists to regroup, reorganize, rebuild trust, strengthen institutions, and recommit resources, it is now. Grandstanding, criticizing, and grumbling will not defeat the Federalist agenda. Facebook posts will not restore Ambazonia. Political insults will not build a nation. Only disciplined organization, unity of purpose, sustained material and financial sacrifice, and strategic mobilization can do that. Independentists should therefore stop assuming that Federalists are political comrades simply because they also criticize Yaoundé. We pursue different constitutional destinations, and that reality should be acknowledged honestly. At the same time, Federalists deserve the right to advocate their vision, but they should stop telling independentists to appraise the last 10 years. Independentists have at least something to show. Federalists, on the other hand, have nothing, zero, not even a single come together, the kind that independentists have. They owe Southern Cameroonians an honest explanation of precisely what federalism they seek and why they believe it is realistically attainable. And if that wasn't attainable before 2016, what have they to prove it? What have they to prove it is attainable today? They should stop marketing federalism as an easy way out of the conflict. History has shown that nations are not built by wishful thinking. They are built by clarity, conviction, and sacrifice. Moments do not prevail simply because they are right. They prevail because those who believe in them have a plan, and are prepared to sustain the plan. That is my talking point, ladies and gentlemen. It was a little bit kind of haphazard there. Sorry for my teleprompter here. But again, I am being joined by Sissoko. Sissoko, Ebony Christmas, joining me from the great state of Maryland. If you can centralize your image in camera and bend it a little bit, please. That would be great. Okay, perfect. Perfect. All right, Sissoko, a great pleasure to have you back, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right. I am also being joined from London by one of my favorite commentators here, Eric Acha, great to have you back here, sir.
A pleasure indeed, Chris. Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Let me start. I'm sure, I don't know whether, Eric, you were at the Southern Cameroon's International Town Hall over the weekend. Were you able to afford it?
Yes, indeed. Chris, greetings to everyone listening to us. Again, it's always a pleasure being on the channel here to share ideas. I did actually join the town hall. I wasn't there at the beginning, but I think I did listen to Issa Tchiroma speaking and the follow-up questions that came up. So yes, I was.
All right, awesome. Hold it there. We're going to get into it. But Sisiko Ebene, I guess you were also there throughout.
I left. I heard you talked. I was not there when you talked. I left when Eric Chinje was talking. I had a phone call to attend to.
Oh, right.
And Gordon Acha, I've been hearing you for a long time since it's a long time. Is this you?
That's the face.
I've heard your name,
That's
right?
You've
littered your name around this revolution for a little bit there.
All right, let's get into the issues here. I put out a commentary over the weekend. I was quite unsettled with what I heard there, not mostly from Issa Tchiroma, but from Ambazonians themselves. You have a platform that has been known to pursue the independence cause, and then you find organizers and those present, talking about federalism as if that is what, as if that's a consensus among Southern Cameroonians. I don't know whether any of you witnessed that. Eric, let me start with you.
Chris, there seems to be a lack. There's a lack between the talking and the cameras. So I will just carry on talking with the hope that it reconnects. Because I'm still seeing
you are 5 on 5. You are syncing.
Oh,
actually.
Brilliant. All right, brilliant. Indeed, I read what you wrote over the weekend, the comments you made immediately after the town hall, and in all honestly speaking, you had every right to send out those comments based on what you thought. That was your opinion, and everyone involved or everyone who has been part of this process, whether the Federalists or the Independentists, they all have their opinions. I would want to think at this point, it may be, I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would want to think at this point, as far as that town hall is concerned, it may be a bit unfair to lay blame on the guest speaker or the main guest, who was Issa Tchiroma. If you believe the whole construct, the whole manner in which the conversation happened didn't actually present what it should have been, or if you think the Federalists hijacked the town hall meeting, that's something which you should be addressing with the organizers and not the guest, who was Issa Tchiroma. Because when I listened to the questions that were being put forth to him, yes, he wiggled on many of those questions, especially that key question on whether would he support or will he give the Southern Cameroonians the independence that they've been yearning for, or if that isn't the case, what kind of federalism is he proposing? I believe that question, to me, wasn't well answered on the side of Mr. Tchiroma. He played around the answer, but again, that's something which we can expatiate on as we speak. That's what I could observe. So I yield back.
All right, hang in there. Let's get that clip, the clip where he is answering the question about federalism, so that people can understand exactly what you are saying. And I intend to come back to him. My question wasn't, or my post over the weekend wasn't necessarily focused on him. I think it was focused more on the organizers and Southern Cameroonians, Ambazonians who came there pretending now is a time, it's a consensus for federalism. Whereas these were the same people who stood side by side, Sissoko, declaring a free and independent Southern Cameroons. But let's listen to Tchiroma answer to the question of whether he supports, what kind of federalism he stands for. He did not give an answer. He dodged the question. He avoided it. Listen to it.
Federalism. You have mentioned several times federalism. Could you please, in your opinion, tell us what kind of federalism you envision for Cameroon? Thank you, sir, and God bless you. You have mentioned several times federalism. Could you please, in your opinion, tell us what kind of federalism you envision for Cameroon? Thank you, sir, and God bless you.
Thank you. There is one form of federalism I will accept and adopt. The federalism which brings together all Cameroonians from wherever they are. The federalism which will enable me to rescue those who are in problem. The federalism which will enable all Cameroonians to feel at home, to be ready, to be committed, to be involved in the process of the making of the nation. That reason why I say I'm a politician. I'm a politician. I'm not an expert in the domain of judiciary, but I am a politician. I will commit the expert. You, where you are in United States, wherever there are experts, my team, take the issue to my team in order to enlighten me. The kind of federalism I want is the most humane federalism which give equal chance, equal opportunity. The son of a soldier, the son of agriculture, of a farmer, must have the possibility to become head of state, to become minister, to become expert in any other areas. We are human beings. Let us celebrate what we are, because all of us, we are the son and daughter of the same creator.
All right. Sissoko Ibini, I believe the question was very clear and direct. What form of federalism? I have heard you talk about federalism. What form of federalism exactly would you like to see out there implemented in Cameroon? Tchiroma says, I want a federalism where everybody comes together. I want a federalism where everybody lives together. I want a federalism where all sons of blah, 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 blah. He did not answer that question. And I like it when he ends it by saying, I'm a politician. Then somewhere he says, I will gather experts. Experts. To do what? Sissoko.
I think I differ with you a little bit here. For me, his answer was very appropriate. He's a politician. I think it's the highest level of naivety and maybe even driven to ignorance for us to expect any Cameroonian politician to come on air and say that it's going to give a certain structure that is going to encourage splitting of the country, which is where they are trying to direct this question. Tchiroma said very clearly, and he said it appropriately, that he is going to do consultation for the form of the state. And that's what he should say. It is not his place to say whether he's going to return to 1961 format or not. That is not his place. It is the place of the people to come together and decide. So I think for me, I don't see anything wrong with his answer.
But then you are exactly right. That is what I was expecting. I expected him to say, hey, I can't sit here and decide alone, but I will summon I will summon the people of the Southern Cameroons to hear what they want. He knows we had a two-state federation before. He knows the country is now made up of 10 regions per their terminology. He could have just said simply, hey, listen, I'm going to summon the people and we will discuss and agree, because you cannot tell me that Tchiroma doesn't know what Southern Cameroonians, Ambazonians want. They want either a free and independent country of their own, or for some, they want a return to 1961. Eric, am I wrong?
I will differ. I will deviate a little bit. I will differ a little bit with you, Chris, on this aspect here. Just like Comrade Ibn said there, Issa Tchiroma is a politician. He is a La République du Cameroon politician. He is a president-elect looking forward to taking office in Cameroon, meaning in every term. Should things go the way everyone is thinking, which he's also thinking, this should be the highest personality who has openly agreed to engage in honest and genuine conversations with the Southern Cameroonians aspiring for an independent state. That's something which I would want us all to take home with. That's something which I would want even you, Chris, and all the other independents to take home with, that this is someone who has openly committed to sit down and have a conversation about the state, about the form of the country, something which until this moment is still a taboo with the regime in Yaoundé, and something which, if you remember the gun dialogue, or whatever you call it, that sham of a dialogue, which was organized by the regime in place, information is coming out now very clearly that even Paul Biya, whom we don't know where he is, which I believe we'll be touching on that soon, they said at the very origin, at the very start, or the very inception of the gun dialogue, the conversation was about engaging the Southern Cameroonians. It was about discussing the Anglophone issue. Professor Nyamdik, who used to be one of the inner cores of the CPDM, was privy to some of the information around when this dialogue was being planned. Ferdinand Gongo, who is the current Secretary General at the presidency, Atanganji, and a handful of others, hijacked the agenda, changed it, and prohibited the conversations around the form of the country. And that's why people who were invited to that dialogue, who were in the committee that was supposed to discuss this issue, were all shocked and embarrassed, because they were not even allowed to voice any conversation, to say anything on the form of the state. So if today we have someone that we all believe, a majority of Cameroonians believe, won the elections in October, is openly committing to open conversations once he takes office, is willing to come into a town hall meeting and engage with Southern Cameroonians, to me it should be taken as a plus and something which we should work on and see what comes out of it. That's how I see the whole thing.
I totally agree with that. Maybe it's because I'm not a politician, because I think that if you believe in something as you do and I do, that Issa Tchiroma believes in some kind of federalism, he should be able, knowing what the people want in a town hall meeting like this one, be able to say what he thinks. At least,
if you permit me,
he could say, at least he could say, when the moment comes, we will bring Southern Cameroonians to the table, or Ambazonians to the table, and find out what they want and see what then can be done. Leave it to the people to decide what becomes the outcome of it. And not say that he is going to gather some experts to decide what Southern Cameroonians want.
I think those are the semantics and something which can be looked into. The fact, remember, he has told you he is not an expert. He is not a constitutional expert. He's a politician, and saying what he thinks. He may not have that terminology or know exactly what to come out here and tell or promise people. He is being cautious because you know this is a sensitive issue, and you know the challenges surrounding this conversation. So the fact that he is committing or stating that he will gather experts that include Southern Cameroonians. It includes Southern Cameroonian constitutional experts, legal experts, to sit down and have that conversation, to me, is how we should be looking at it. To me, that was a plus to me. Maybe Comrade Ebony would have something more interesting to add on to this, but I see that, to me, the way he responded was very welcoming and opened that podium for a conversation should he take office.
Sisiko, you have something to add there. The way I look at it, again, I've explained that, but also look at this other angle. The way federalism is treated or was treated in there sends a kind of picture that we have reached a consensus. Southern Cameroonians have reached a consensus. It is all about federalism without a single table of negotiations.
Well, I think Comrade Gordon Archer addressed it well, and he picked up from where I left it. And I try not to be naive or present myself as ignorant, expecting something from Tchiroma that he cannot give. Tchiroma is not, I will not go to expect Tchiroma to come and declare to me that, oh, you guys can have your independence, or you guys can have your two-state federation. So he doesn't fail me in that angle because I don't expect that from him. Even if he starts saying that, I will start questioning what kind of a leader he's going to be. For me, when I listened to him throughout the town hall, he articulated things that he was supposed to articulate within the guidelines of a partisan politician talking, who is aspiring to higher office and who wants to present himself as someone who is going to be different than what he's trying to replace. And one of the things that the current system has not allowed is for certain issues to even be discussed in public by the politicians and to make promises like bringing people together if they are not there to delegate and control the agenda. So like Mr. Archer says, it's hopeful if he's talking these good talks. He rose from softening up on the Ambazonian stuff when he went to Bamenda and called your name. I think that's what gave him the national popularity that made him become the only person that people were watching among the candidates who were running for the election. So what I would say again is that we do expect a lot, which is okay. I mean, for us Ambazonians to expect that everybody should feel the way we feel, and they should be able to be doing things that meets up with our aspirations. But then again, we should understand too the differences, because even our own people who were there that we call Federalists, we don't know whether both of them are going to even present the case. Those our Federalists are going to present the case any different than Tchiroma is presenting. I don't know whether there are any of those our Federalists who are strongly looking for us to return to the bicultural federation of 1961. So those are some of the things we have to wrestle with.
That is your opinion, though. You don't know that. Many of them want to return to 1961. It appears to me, listening to...
That's what I'm saying, that we don't know. I'm saying that we don't know. I'm not saying that they are not.
Yeah, because it appears to me that most of these so-called federalists just want anything that brings back peace to La République du Cameroon. Give them 20-state federation. Give them 2-state federation. 4-state federation. They just want anything that ends this thing without a chance for a free and independent Southern Cameroons. Am I wrong? I mean, didn't you see that? Haven't you heard that in their discussions? Because, let me put it this way, because if you ask them, what kind of federation do you want? Nobody tells you. They've not held any meeting to come up with a white paper that says this is a stance of Federalists. None exists. Everybody is pushing out his own opinion, and so at the end of the day, 20 states, 15 states, 2 states, they're all on it. To me, it sounds like they just want something that ends this war. And you heard it from the women who are always showing up there talking about, oh, children not going to school, people displaced, blah, 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 and so on. It just sounds like they want anything that bring this to an end. We have sacrificed for 10 years. People have died. And we're going to be going back to the response from Issa, Tchiroma on Amber Boys. Well, don't you think that what Federalists are trying to do out there is just settle on anything that ends the war without some freedom, true freedom for Ambazonians?
All of us want an end to the war. All of us want our people to be free from jail. All of us want an end. We are not advocating for violence. We did not call war upon ourselves. So all of us, Federalists or non-Federalists, independents or whatever, we want an end to violence. We don't want our people to be dying. But then again, we have some nuances in our own camp that we are not that together. We don't speak in one voice. We don't have that strength within ourselves.
Listen, that argument that we are not together, we don't speak with strength. I agree with you, but at least everybody out there is not in doubt what Benin would like to see happen per independence. Nobody doubt what Chris Anu wants to see happen. But you ask Federalists, what exactly do you stand for? What are the guarantees? There is no answer.
You are very correct, Comrade Chris. And that's the reason why sometimes when they want to get us into meetings, they don't come up front. They try to sneak it.
Yeah.
They are not very comfortable in telling us that, oh, this meeting is for this, or this is where this meeting is coming from. And that was my problem getting into even the town hall, because it was not very clear whether it was Tchiroma asking to meet with Southern Cameroonians, or we are the ones who went and asked Tchiroma to meet with us. So that kind of sneakiness is part of the problem we're having.
Eric, if I may come back to you, still on this very subject. Do you disagree that Federalists really have not come up with exactly what form of federalism that they want? Because if I were a Federalist, I would be saying, let's come together. We cannot just be singing, we want federalism, 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 without a single piece of paper telling La République du Cameroon exactly what form of federalism we want. Is it federalism like in England or in Canada? Or, I mean, think about it. You can name the rest. That hasn't happened.
Yeah, you are spot on that, Comrade Chris. And I think the answer to that challenge, the inability for the Federalists to come up with a white paper stating clearly what form of federation they want, stems from the very regime itself. It stems from the very fact that amongst the Federalists, this is not secret, amongst the Federalists, you have people who are regime leaning, meaning they are willing and ready to table or put forth a federalist agenda which is defined or dictated by the regime. And you have amongst them people who are quite determined to see a return to the two-state federation. You have amongst them people who are buying the notion of a communal kind of, whatever that means, a communal federalism. You have amongst these federalists people who want a four-state federation. So the challenge, the difficulties, the absence of a clear, well-defined position, a federalist position, doesn't surprise me. Unlike the other side of the coin, where the independentists, they want one thing, an independent state. That's easy to define. It's not a partial independent or a semi-independent. It's independence compared to those who are advocating for federalism. That challenge is something which they must address. Recently, I heard conversations around possible reorganization of an all-Anglophone conference. I was invited into one of the consultation meetings, I think about a week or two ago. And when I listened to the conversations, it explains exactly these concerns you are raising here. The division, the lack of clarity on the kind of federalism that federalists want. That is a challenge. That's a key challenge, which when that happens, it then leaves that open space saying, all right, let's go along with whoever is willing to have a conversation with us, and we'll see what comes out from there. Meaning they are going into a conversation without a clear definition of what they want. And I believe this will be a catastrophic error, a monumental error should that happen. The call for independentists to reorganize, to regroup, should be as strong just as the call for the Federalists. All Anglophones, all Abo-original Anglophones who do not want to see a separate state, or who believe they do not want to be part of an independent Southern Cameroon, who want to continue to have some form of coexistence with La République du Cameroun, must reorganize themselves and clearly define what they want, especially now that the country is at the crossroad. If Anglophones in general, be them Southern Cameroonians who want an independent state or the Federalists, do not reorganize at this moment to define their priorities, to define what they want, I am afraid the wind of change will pass us by. Things will happen in Cameroon while we stand by and observe, and we'll be the losers. So the call for regrouping, reorganizing, re-strategizing must be loud and clear for all Anglophones, for all Abo-original people of the Southern Cameroons.
If I may ask, knowing that Federalists do not have the leverage, the ability to call out the boys in the bushes to lay down any arms, what leverage do they have to think that they can sit on the table and negotiate federalism with La République du Cameroun? Because the independentists will say, that is your business. We did not agree with you. We did not arrange that with you. You can grow on, arrange your federalism. We will keep this war going. We will keep the boys in the bushes. Now, that's okay. Come on, Eric.
Yeah, I just want to pick up, because this is crucial. This is very important. One thing, we shouldn't deceive ourselves here. One thing we should understand and accept is that if today we are even able, if today Federalists are even able to sit on the table and aspire for a negotiation, or aspire for dialogue, aspire for some form of conversation or discussions, it is thanks to the independence movement. It is thanks to the Ambazonia or the Southern Cameroonian hardcore fighters. Meaning they cannot be, we'll be deceiving ourselves here, there cannot be any form of discussions, negotiations, without involving or without having those who have been at the root of this fight on the table. It will be pure deception. And I believe Tchiroma himself knows that, or whoever knows that. There can be no genuine conversations, negotiations, without having these core parties involved. It will not be a conversation between the Federalists and the regime or the government that emerges in La République du Cameroun. That's not what's going to happen, because the issue at the moment is not about the Federalists. The fighting, the war ongoing is not about the Federalists. This we must be very honest and clear about it. I just wanted to add this aspect.
Sissoko, to that extent, don't you think that Federalists, if anything, should be saying, let's support the independentists, but let's get our own plan. When independentists fail to agree with Cameroon, then maybe they can fall back to our own plan, because I believe that is the only time they kick in. Am I wrong?
That's a good plan. And I want to disagree with a little bit here with Mr. Gordon Acha. By the way, before I forget, we forget when we talk. Are you related by any chance to
Eric.
Mr. Gordon
It's
Acha?
Eric Acha. It's Eric Acha, not Gordon
Oh,
Acha.
it's Eric. I thought it's Gordon because I had a teacher in CPC who was called Gordon Acha, so I thought it was Gordon Acha. I'm sorry.
Eric Acha.
I disagree with the notion that without the guns and the fighting on the ground, there would have been no place for the Federalists to talk. That's not true. If we were very organized, war
No,
or no
I don't
war.
think he said no place for
No,
the Federalists.
no,
I think
no,
he is
no.
saying no, voice for the Federalists.
Let me. I think I have a right of response here before Comrade Sesesu Kadison. I have a reason to correct.
Sure,
I did not say the
Go ahead.
guns. I didn't say the guns. I didn't say without the guns. Before the guns came in, there was a solid position for the Southern Cameroonian leaders. Before the guns then came in as a failure of those attempts to negotiate. I just want to correct that. When I'm referring to that hardcore, I mean those who are calling for independence. That without the call for full independence, there wouldn't have been this open podium to discuss federalism. I just wanted to correct that aspect.
Exactly.
So I yield back.
I think, Comrade Chris and Comrade Eric, it is to our advantage to solidify our position, make it strong for negotiation. And when I say our position, I'm talking of us as Southern Cameroonians to include those who are for independence and those who are not for independence. We should look for a way of making that position very strong. Where we are right now, the people for independence are weak. Those of us, even though we have guns for independence, for independence are weak, for federation are weak. Because there seem to be more disagreements amongst ourselves than we are organized to take a force to La Republique. Now, here's the truth. No matter what we talk, no matter how much we think we have held La Republique for 10 years, they still occupy our territory. Our people are still under their control. So when they will feel the need for change, they would have a place where there's no way La Republique will go on the table to negotiate for us that they are going to grant us independence. Independence will be something that we would have to take, not something that they will give. So the very moment we get on any table that we are negotiating, we should know that our slogan of non-negotiable independence is already weakened. The only way we can get that independence is to outrightly place the burden of war on La Republique and defeat them in battlefield outrightly. Without such, and expecting that we'll go on the table to negotiate independence, whether we have our Federalist brothers with us or not, it's not going to work. So it is better for us.
Sisiko, I think I disagree. with you. We have seen other wars of independence fought across the globe. And yes, it goes on and on and on for years. But at the end of the day, it still comes doors to the negotiation table. So I don't know why you think that Ambazonia cannot fight and then settle on the negotiation table. You think that Cameroonians want to see the war going on for eternity?
Let me tell you that I'm just a private citizen. I don't hold any position of to make decisions, but me personally, I would think it is not fair for me to sit in a comfort somewhere and tell our people to stay there and be dying and go and be dying when we are not very organized in the way we are?
No. I will stop you right there, because I have heard that, and I heard it yesterday in that town hall meeting. People sit in the diaspora and they say those in the diaspora send people to go and die. My own brother died. I did not send him. He was an adult. He went there, lived in the bush for years, fought by himself. Nobody sent him. He died on his own. Why do you keep telling people that people send people to go and die as if they are kids?
What do you mean? Your brother died because we know your brother.
Because he said there, nobody in the diaspora sent him to go and die.
Chris, Field Marshal, no matter how you disagree with Field Marshal, one would know that at the time when Field Marshal was there, this armed struggle had a different take. Right now, we don't have control.
That is true, but that is not the case. The point is when you sit there and others I have heard and say that people in the diaspora stay in the diaspora, send people to go and die. But my point is, you are not correct, because those boys.
That's what you are trying to make us say here. You are sitting there and saying that 20 years, making comparison of people who have been involved for 20, 30 years. You are sitting in diaspora and making that assertion.
That's what has happened with every other war. Support comes from
the
diaspora.
You are saying that in the diaspora. Are you on the ground like your brother was?
There are those who are on the ground. Not everybody will be on the ground. Don't you understand
that?
You are out there. You are out there collecting and sending out to prisoners out there, which is a good thing. Are you on the ground?
Let them decide that, not us.
No, it's a collective responsibility. You got to know that. Only those who want to surrender say, let some people decide.
You are dismissing my own position. You want me to embrace yours?
No, but I'm trying to
what I'm saying.
counter your position. You don't have to agree with my position.
My position
I think your position is fundamentally wrong.
Past examples exist for us to learn from them, not to emulate them. We can learn from
past examples that no independent
and avoid certain things,
not necessarily to justify. Not even 15 years.
We should not use them to justify wrong actions.
That is not wrong action. You supported it. You declared independent. You stood by Sisiko and Yoktabe and declared independent. And here you are shrinking.
I still support, but I'm being strategic. I am being strategic and looking for ways to save lives.
You should fight for it. If you support, you are supporting it. And you are
I am fighting. That's why I'm on your show. I am fighting for it. That's why I'm on your show talking about it.
Eric, please.
Should I fight it the way you tell me to fight it?
Eric, go on.
Gentlemen, I think can you hear me?
Yes, go on.
Oh, sorry. Now, I was saying it happens very often that this issue, the way we are raising our voices tells how emotional we quickly get when we start discussing these issues. But as I've learned, and as I've told many at times, is that high emotions are not going to get us out of this mess which we are in. Organizing, being strategic, being thoughtful, thinking deep is what will show us a way. Now, the issue on which you both are raising your voices, if you step back, you realize we're all on the same page. The disagreement there, or where I see you disagreeing there, is you standing firm on the fact that it is not the diaspora dictating to those on the ground or to those fighting on the ground, whereas Comrade Sisiko, on the other hand, is of the view that you trying to compare or put into perspective our struggle with other long-standing struggles that have lasted 20 years is like saying those on the ground should carry on fighting for 20 years. Where we are, to be honest, at this point, that shouldn't be our priorities. The conversation should be, how do we, Southern Cameroonians, regroup? How do we engage in conversations that will strengthen our position? should there be an opportunity to negotiate tomorrow, these should be our conversations. This should be how we should be strategizing and thinking. Let's not engage in talks or things that will further tear us apart or push us away from the core objective, which we all on this panel have, and even those back at home and in the diaspora. We should focus on things that will unite us, or if not uniting, will strengthen our position. As I said earlier, Cameroon is at the crossroad. Our success will only depend on how we leverage our experiences, how we learn from the errors that were made. Many errors were made. You may disagree with me here, but I will insist that many errors were made when this struggle started. How do we learn from it? What have we learned from it? How do we leverage from that to strengthen our position, to be ready to engage in meaningful conversations that will lead us towards what we want, whether it be the two-state federation or an independent Southern Cameroon? Let's focus on conversations that will strengthen that position, rather than disagreeing on things that will not take us to anywhere. That's my view on this.
Yeah, I think I totally agree with you. My only disappointment is when people say others are sending some on the ground to go and die, whereas they declared the war, they declared independence. Sorry, not the war, they declared independence. When you declare independence, you must then fight for it. And not everybody will take a stick into the bush. Some will give money. Some will give moral support. Some will give material support. Those boys who are in the bushes will do what they have to do. Let's stop the idea that some in the diaspora are, pushing these boys to die. No, they took the weapons on their own. If somebody in the diaspora is supporting them, it is because they took the guns in the first place. That's just the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, which is clear. I think that point is clear. And what I would want to reemphasize again is that there will be no way, it will be difficult to actually find a clear path. No leader in Cameroon today would want to engage in conversations or negotiations without having those carrying those guns being on the table. That will not be very honest. They must have their representatives, right, or have themselves there in whatever form. But to have a genuine, long-lasting peace, we need those people, or those people will have to be on the table, those boys.
Absolutely. No, that is absolutely the way to go. You cannot negotiate leaving out those boys in the bushes because they are stakeholders in the struggle. If Federalists think they can declare federation while those boys are still in the bushes, they know it is not going to happen. If I were to suggest anything to them, I would say, hey, listen, guys, put forth your position. Let the independentists at least know what your stance is, so that when they go to the negotiation table, or call it dialogue, or whatever title is given to it, they know what independentists want. And if they were to fall back, who knows? Who knows? It could be falling back to that position because they say dialogue is give and take, right? Sisiko.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
absolutely.
Mr. Eric, actually, let me just say this. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with us disagreeing and genuinely even raising our voice at each other once in a while, as long as we have the emotional competency to know that those arguments or those disagreements are not really putting us apart as enemies. I have to do that because this is Chris Anu's show. And if I come here, he might want to force his stuff on me and not give me the voice. So I have to raise my voice so that he knows that my point must go across. He's done that many times. So he's my friend. We have argued many times even before now, and we still come back together. So what I'm saying is that thing of us being afraid of disagreeing, of even raising your voice a little bit, is what our parents brought in, and they took everything from us that we are struggling today. As long as your heart is in the right place, as long as you are an honest person, you will not even be take a disagreement with a brother to heart as something serious.
Correct.
The Federalists are my friends. There's no way anybody will tell me to see Munzo as an enemy, Dr. Munzo, or Mr. John Nguane, or those other people because they stand for federalism. Would argue with them.
I see you and Munzo quarreling at night and dance. No, quarreling in the daytime.
That's right.
And dance in the day, at night.
And you refused. I came to this show because you told me that you were going to show.
I'm coming to that. Hold on there. I'm coming to that.
The video of federal.
Hold on. I'm coming to that. Don't worry.
Eric, this is the thing we have to teach our people. As I'm standing here now, they know. Chris, he himself knows how people have been attacking me in this thing. My heart is clean. Nobody is going to do anything to me as long as this revolution is concerned, because I don't have any personal agenda. I don't take anybody that I disagree with as an enemy. And I know that people have their choices, and their right to make their choices. If mine is strong, the way I fortify myself to sell it, that's what would convince the other person. I cannot take away somebody's right to make mine stronger. So that's what I'm arguing here. So
correct.
I agree with you that things have gone in a way that may not have been anticipated when we met in 1994 in Bamenda during AAC2. And where the Bamenda Proclamation clearly stated that no other AAC should happen. That cannot tie us from adjusting ourselves to the current realities. And we cannot really be fighting, and we go out there when we have a common enemy, and they look at us, we are tearing ourselves apart. So my support is that where we are now, to keep our house together. It doesn't matter whether we have people in the bush who are fighting for independence, and we have people in Yaoundé who are still saying that we should stay together. Let those of us, children of this land, called Southern Cameroon, so you want to call it Ambazonia, still have that place where we come together with all faithfulness, and we pray to our ancestors and God to give us people to lead such process with clean hearts, who will bring us together. And then whatever we decide, we commit to. That's what I see. Before even we are thinking of going to confront Yaoundé. Eventually, whether we like it or not, this thing is going to end up in some negotiation. It could be some negotiation that maybe not even rallying all of us to a table. It could be that God touches puts his hand into things happen in a different way in the government of Cameroon, and then somebody who wants to come and listen in a better way and fix things, not necessarily the way we want, but in a way that comes close, that would be good. So let us keep that. That's why Chris Ano would always call me, I'll come here. I would not let him push any kind of a thing me. I know that he too would not let me push anything, but we'll talk.
All right, let's get back before we get to a breaking story that is emerging from La République du Cameroon right now.
Okay, take it over, man.
Mr. Bia has not returned. I don't want to, he has not returned, but I'm reading here he has appointed new generals. Okay. I have the names here. We're going to be coming back to it. That is the breaking news coming from Cameroon. Bia appoints new generals in the army and in the gendarmerie. I will be bringing you the names a little bit later when we delve into that discussion. But I want to play the last clip from Issa Tchiroma at that meeting that had to do with a question on what he would do with the Ambazonia restoration fighters. Please listen to it.
Or should you take power as president, and what is that plan?
Well, thank you for raising this fundamental issue, this very important question. I think that on a daily basis, we aggress and we offend the rule and the law put in place by the Lord himself. Then he forgives us, provided that we do not repeat the mistake that we have committed. Amber boys, they are Cameroonian. They are Cameroonian. I can never and will never reject any Cameroonian. But I said one thing. Such a problem has already taken place somewhere in the world. Let us learn and see how did they solve the problem. No Cameroonian will be put aside because any past action or activity. No Cameroonian. This is my commitment. If you are not capable of forgiving, you are not worthy of coming and work with President Tchiroma. Amber boys, I don't know what exactly had taken place. We have to be sincere with ourselves, be open-minded, and give the opportunity to those who committed wrong to redeem themselves, to rehabilitate themselves, and to be integrated in the society. Because what are you going to do with them? If they have committed something wrong, something detestable, but what are you going to do with them? It is already done. Now, I will put in place a commission, Truth and Reconciliation, to understand exactly what has taken place. Okay, we discover what has taken place. If apology is necessary, we are going to apologize. What part will be the one of the state in the compensation in this and that? We are going to see. But Amber boy, they are Cameroonian. No matter what they committed, they are Cameroonian. We are not going to throw them into bush. No, not at all. Let Amber boy realize that at the given time of their existence, they committed something which is wrong. The new Cameroon will welcome, including those who at any given time for their life, in their life, for one reason or other, happen to commit something which is wrong. But if you commit something wrong, you apologize. You excuse what you did because it is wrong. Because if not, what are you going to do with Amber boy? I will not sacrifice Amber boy. They are Cameroonian.
Okay, the answer there is a mixed bag. Tchiroma is not saying, well, I will reintegrate them. But he is saying he will reintegrate them, even though they have committed some crimes. But they too are Cameroonians, and these things happen during war. That is essentially what he has said out there. It's a mixed response there. If I may ask both of you, do you see it? Do you see Amber boys as people who should be just reintegrated and forgiven because they committed crime, or they should be treated as people who defended their people and their territory? Eric, please.
Yeah. Again, I would want to respond to this from a premise, which is, again, Issa Tchiroma is a politician. Issa Tchiroma is an elected or aspiring leader of La République du Cameroon. And the response he gave there, in all honesty, doesn't surprise me. That's the best he could give. If we expected him to say something other than what he has said there, then we're deceiving ourselves.
Well,
the fact that
Eric, hold on there, please. Hold on, Eric. Hold on for a second. Issa Tchiroma is not ignorant that Amber boys, as they were described in there, picked up guns to defend their people in their territory against a war they did not call for. Against a war La République du Cameroon declared on their people on November 30th, 2017. So why shouldn't he say, well, it's a war situation. If we have to forgive some people, everybody has to be forgiven. That is the answer I expect. Because if you are talking about Amber boys as committing crimes, what do you talk about Cameroon soldiers who commit what is the terminology? In Garibu, in Bali, in Pidgin, go on there.
Yeah, which these are the issues that wouldn't come up when these conversations do start. Tchiroma is responding as someone because he knows the complications, he knows the challenges, he knows what it will take should he come on air in a town hall meeting organized by Southern Cameroonians and runs his mouth in any shape or form. He knows the consequences. People were watching all over the world. We were not only ones listening. You have partners. You have partners to Cameroon, the country which he wants to lead, listening to that town hall meeting. So to me, those responses he was giving there, he was answering as a Cameroonian politician. Whether they do satisfy what you or I wanted is another question. Whether what would happen to the Abba boys when that time comes will be something to be negotiated. This will be part of the negotiating package. I wasn't expecting Tchiroma to stand in that town hall meeting and say he would do X or Y to Amber boys openly. These are things that will happen when those negotiations do start. The fact that he is committing to have that conversation to make it satisfactory.
Sisiko, please.
I think, Tchiroma is a talker. He started out talking well the Truth and Reconciliation, which was on spot. But sometimes when you have questions and you're in this type of situation too, you should be strategic and not talk too much. So when he talked about Truth and Reconciliation, which the Truth and Reconciliation should not only be something that targets but the Amber boys, it should target even also the military that committed crimes and all those other things. If I was Tchiroma, I would have left it at the initiating a Truth and Reconciliation without even labeling it to any group. And I would not go as far as trying to pass judgment on the Amber boys as being criminals. That's where he went wrong.
All right. Please stay put in there. We will take a brief break, and when we come back, we will get into the developing news from Cameroon again. Paul Biya is not back, but we are learning of a decree that went out today appointing 4 new army generals or promoting them, and then with 1 new, I don't know what they call it in the gendarmerie department, whether generals or whatever. I see 1 Beko, Abondo, Raymond, Jean Charles. A long name for a new gendarmerie commander out there. But when we come back, we get to the subject of Paul Biya remaining in Europe after about 55 days. Not coming home to take care of the country, why speculations go on about his ability to even return. Stay put, please.
Have you noticed? The world is changing faster than ever before.
Artificial intelligence is transforming workplaces, creating new opportunities, and reshaping entire industries.
The question is no longer whether AI will impact your career. The question is, will you be ready? At Certified AI Academy, we're helping ordinary people gain extraordinary skills in just 8 weeks.
Unlike many programs that leave you alone with recorded videos, our classes are taught live by experienced instructors.
You will learn practical AI skills you can immediately apply at work, in business, or to launch a new career.
And we don't stop at training. We help with resume development, job search support, and connecting graduates with opportunities.
Many AI jobs today can be performed remotely from anywhere in the world.
Our next session begins July 24th. Seating is limited.
To enroll, text AI to 346-271-0711 or visit certifiedaiacademy.com.
Have you noticed? The world is changing faster than ever before.
Artificial intelligence is transforming workplaces, creating new opportunities, and reshaping entire industries.
The question is no longer whether AI will impact your career. The question is, will you be ready? At Certified AI Academy, we're helping ordinary people gain extraordinary skills in just 8 weeks.
Unlike many programs that leave you alone with recorded videos, our classes are taught live by experienced instructors.
You will learn practical AI skills you can immediately apply at work, in business, or to launch a new career.
And we don't stop at training. We help with resume development, job search support, and connecting graduates with opportunities.
Many AI jobs today can be performed remotely from anywhere in the world.
Our next session begins July 24th. Seating is limited.
To enroll, text AI to 346-271-0711 or visit certifiedaiacademy.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for staying put out there. This is what I am learning here, learning that Paul Biya has appointed by presidential decree. I hope this one wasn't made up, but it seems to have all the legitimate seals from La République du Cameroon with the watermark of prc.cm. That is their website. That means if you go to prc.cm website, you should find this information too. It is all written in French, and for me to be able to have a good handle on what it is saying, I would have to get it translated. I cannot do it now. But these are the names I see. Let me try to read a little bit in French, but don't laugh, please, because this is not my first language. This is not le BLM. This is not Bangwa. Neither is it English. So let me try. Le officier supérieur des forces de défense doit le nom souvent son pour compter de la date de signature du présent décret promu au grade de général de brigade ainsi qui suit. Gendarmerie nationale. Elundu E. Mesmin Magloy Aristide. Ami de terre. I don't know what Ami de terre means. I don't know whether that means Ami General or what. But it says Ami de terre. Number 1. Beko Abondo Raymond Jang Charles. Inchanku Mbumbu Injindam Omar. Epierre Ingome Wilson. And Mezui Zu El Romans. Those are the names there, ladies and gentlemen. Again, pardon my French there, I tried. But Eric, let me come to you.
Ami de terre means ground troops.
I'm sorry?
Ami de terre means ground troops now.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to read that detail after the show. But Eric, this guy is still in Geneva, and he is appointing these new generals. The person who forwarded me the press statement wrote, top military appointments in Cameroon to preempt something or what? That is a question, I guess, that everybody out there is asking for a man who is not even inside the country. Now, do not forget, only last week, what is the other guy? Hector
Chemo. Hector
Yes.
Marie Chemo.
Yeah, was retired at 84, while Claude Maker, who is 87, is still on duty, not retired. And Chemo said, no, I'm not leaving. I don't even know whether at this time he is gone or not. But these appointments only add to the suspicion that La République du Cameroon, at least those in management, are very much afraid a coup could be in the making, especially when Issa Tchiroma is out there appealing to the military to come and take him home. Oh, let me get your opinion on that, please.
Yes, Chris. I think this is a topical issue, one that is on the mind of every Cameroonian and even partners of Cameroon. Where the country is today is, to say it's a shame is an understatement. It's embarrassing. the things we're experiencing, the things we're seeing in Cameroon today is embarrassing and beyond anything imaginable. To think you have a leader, a supposed head of state, who leaves the country on what they, in their own words, described as a short trip to Europe, is nowhere to be found 56 days after. Nobody knows what is happening. It's unimaginable. It's something which the world is laughing and wondering what exactly is Cameroon made of. Because you and I, for those of us who are employed, I'm employed by a big financial institution in Europe. I know at the beginning of each year my holidays are calculated. If they say, Eric, you've got 2 weeks of a block leave, I know I have 2 weeks at some point to take as a holiday. If before that period I decide to take a day off or two for whatever reason, be it sick leave or whatever, I have to declare. I have to inform my employer. Paul Biya sometimes forgets to know that he's an employer. He's employed, that he's working for Cameroon. He's been given this status that he feels like a demigod or a mini god, where he is unaccountable, he is unanswerable to anybody. And that's why Cameroon or those around him see him behaving the way he's behaving or enabling him to do the things he does in a way that shows so much disdain for Cameroonians. How can a head of state leave for a foreign country on a supposed short trip, and 56 days after, they cannot tell Cameroonians where he is, what is going on, and what is his state of health? All what the people are getting are rumors. And this isn't the first time. It's only exaggerated this time because it's like each time he goes out on these long trip or short trips that turn into long trips, he increases the dates, he increases the time limit. The last time we had him staying for almost, was it 30 days? Or was it plus 30 something days?
It was actually 40.
And then now, 40.
Yeah.
Now we are counting 56 days, heading into the 60th day, and still nobody knows what is going on. This is happening at a time when a supposed captain who was head of the intelligence department within the presidency came out with terrible allegations, came out with allegations that should shake the nation, that would have required a committee set up to investigate the allegations that he made. But yet nothing is happening. We had a situation, as you cited earlier, of a general second to the chief of staff, René Zemeka, who was announced or sent on retirement while his boss, who is older than him, and who many Cameroonians do not know, was evacuated from Cameroon just before the 20th May to France. René Zemeka is in France today, struggling with his health. He was evacuated. This was hidden from Cameroonians. Then you had his immediate deputy being forced, as we are alleging, or it's being alleged, to go on retirement, while the boss is nowhere to be found. When the president, the chief of staff, is nowhere to be, nobody knows what is going on. And then now, on the eve of all what is happening, you hear announced, some being rejected. We know what happened with the post of the vice president, which many are alleging today, quite rightly, that was an alleged coup that was fueled to the point where nobody again believes any decree that is being announced there in Cameroon. So if we fast forward to today, having these new announcements, announcing new generals, in the midst of all what is going on, people should be asking themselves, what exactly is going on in Cameroon? What is going on in Cameroon? I hear the person who has replaced the Chemo fellow, Marie Hector Chemo,
Yeah.
I got the name. I don't know if you forgot reading it. Exactly. I think that's the picture you just showed there.
Yeah,
They say he is
that is the guy you are seeing on your screen, the Hector Chemo, yes.
That's Hector Chemo.
Yes.
But amongst the generals appointed today, I am being told General Hippolyte Ebaka is the one that will replace him. Meaning they're telling Cameroonians that even though there was so much news about Chemo resisting to go on retirement, he's finally been pushed out and being replaced by General Hippolyte Ebaka. This is an individual I've never heard of. Wow. These are all new individuals emerging. So is there something in the making that Cameroonians should know? Where is Paul Biya? What is happening to Paul Biya? Will Paul Biya return to Cameroon as head of state? If not, what? So what exactly is the Secretary of State, the Secretary of the Presidency there, Ferdinand Gongo, preparing? Cameroonians should be asking, and they deserve answers.
Siseko, let me put it this way and hear what your thoughts are. Could it be that they just want Cameroonians to believe, yes, the president is not here, but at least government is still functioning, he is making appointments, or it could be that they are afraid that a possible military coup could be in the making that they want to avert?
I think it's both. We live in a better era now that the people can easily, because of technology, we can easily access information, no matter how much they try to hide it. One of the strengths of dictatorship and totalitarianism is the control of information flow. They are losing that. So right now, what we are seeing here is nothing new. Biya has been doing this ever since he came to power. The only thing now is that common citizens can follow up and make noise about these things happening. Let's put it in context. Paul Biya is the constitution of Cameroon. Paul Biya is the Supreme Court of Cameroon. Paul Biya is the justice system of Cameroon. Paul Biya is everything. His wishes, whatever Paul Biya wishes, is what is law in Cameroon. With this information now and our availability to talk to each other about what this man is doing so wrong, and we know that this violation that he has been violating for more than 40-something years without many of our people knowing, now we can sit here and we are talking about it, and there might be thousands of other people who are hearing us talk about it. What do we do then? I had suggested that Cameroonians should rally and make sure Biya does not return to that country. He's overstayed, he's done so much. This is the time for the people to come together. No military can stop the people's will if they rise together. This thing of doing the military thing has always been a source of intimidation. There are resolved and determined people cannot be intimidated this way. So to me, it's not new. Biya has been doing these things forever and getting away from it. Is he still going to maybe remain the president and still be doing this thing even when he will be dead? Because I know that I had said that Biya, even if today Biya is on life support, if the people don't rise, his corpse he will still be the all and all of that country. Because even within his camp, it has been structured so well that just his image being dead, and when he's still breathing, controls everything. The people will be afraid. Even those who may want to shake up things will be afraid to try to do anything. So this is not new, and it's up to the people. And we come together like this, we try to rally our people behind and see if the people can be emboldened someday to rise up like they tried to do in the 90s, to shake up these people a little bit and reclaim their dignity and their rights.
Eric, all this is about succession, and names have been thrown out there, and I'm very much aware you deal within the ranks of some powerful economic interests. Who are you hearing out there as a potential successor? Is it Frank Biya? I mean, in terms of vice president, is it Frank Biya? Is it Ngongo? Is it Babo K? What are you hearing out there, please?
Yeah, you're right. There is a lot of information spreading, and Biya and this regime have created that enabling environment for all of these rumors to be swirling around. Paul Biya takes that responsibility to having created a clan conflict of successorship in Cameroon. And that's what is coming now to the open, that every Cameroonian is experiencing it. At the core of what is happening, and I believe you've heard this time and again, are the struggles between the Makokam, which you have the Baboke, the wife, Chantal Biya, being part of. You have the Nangai Bokokam, which is being led by the front runner of this struggle, of this fight for succession, Ferdinand Gongo, and his subordinates. On the other side, you have those from the Bulu areas, like the Motaze, who are all aspiring to fit into this picture. Frank Biya will have a mountain to climb, and I believe he's beginning to realize it. In the early hours or the early days of this succession fight, the name was featuring very often, and people were believing that Frank Biya had a chance of succeeding the father. But as we are drawing near, as we're getting closer and closer, and the reality is beginning to emerge, you realize Frank Biya has no chance whatsoever of emerging as a leader should the father pass away. The front runner at this point, which is thanks to his connections with the military, thanks to the grip he has on the military, is Ferdinand Gongo. I say so, and I want to go back again on these revelations being made by this young Captain Kenneth Efudu. This young man should be listened to. He is, or he was, not an ordinary militaryman. He worked at the head, in the office of the intelligence at the presidency. The things he is revealing should be taken seriously. When he makes allegations like Ngongo wants to eliminate him because he notified Paul Biya, he informed Paul Biya of a potential coup d'etat which was being plotted by Ferdinand Gongo, Atanganji, and the rest, he should be taken seriously. When he says that one French officer, a former fighter in Afghanistan and other places, in the name of Mohamed Sani, was arrested in Yaoundé, who was being protected and kept by Ferdinand Gongo as a Cameroon military officer with sophisticated weapons, he should be taken seriously. When he says this officer, or that they were being pressured to release this Mohamed Sani, and the pressure came directly from Ferdinand Gongo, he should be taken seriously. When he makes allegations to something that concerns us, I'm surprised that you've not even picked on this issue, Chris. This young lad made an allegation that should make the hairs on every southern Cameroonian stand when he revealed the conspiracy behind Sonora. I don't know whether you've listened to it.
I have actually listened to it, and I actually reached out to that guy.
Let me break it down.
I reached out to him for an interview, but I was being charged astronomically, and of course, nobody is paying me to do this. I couldn't afford the money to pay him to come here.
You don't need to interview. He has said, he's already revealed what we need to know. And some of the suspicion is what we already knew. He said in these allegations that the Sonora, which is grounded today, was a well-orchestrated mafia, a strategy incited or created or orchestrated by Ferdinand Gongo with the help of his frontman, Jules Francois Famoua. The name, if you don't know, Google it. You will know who Jules Francois Famoua is. He is a huge fuel importer into Cameroon. I think he's the number one even. He's the one who brought Dangote fuel into Cameroon, the refined fuel. So what this young captain said is that just before Sonora caught fire, a few months before the Sonora caught fire, the state, SNH, has stopped paying the insurance for Sonora, meaning that Sonora was no longer insured a few months before it caught fire. So when it finally caught fire, the insurer couldn't pay out. And the reason why there were no funds to renovate or to bring Sonora back to life. But he is saying that that was well planned because there were already things in the making to let this Jules Francois Famoua to start importing whatever shortfalls that were going to be created by the Sonora not operating. And he said, even though Sonora caught fire, there are 13 refineries in the entire infrastructure of Sonora. Just 4 actually caught fire and burned to the point where they couldn't be repaired. 9 were still operational. Cameroonians should be asking, why were those 9 not rehabilitated to start producing fuel? That couldn't happen because they wanted Jules Francois Famoua to take the market to import fuel into Cameroon, which is what is happening now. He is the major importer of fuel into Cameroon, and that he is only working on the behalf of Ferdinand Gongo. These are allegations that in any normal society, in any functional society, a commission would have been set up to investigate. But hellas, we know where we are. We know the country in which we are. And that's why nothing is happening. You go on the side of the military, Gongo, from what we know, is in charge of the B, which is supposedly the most equipped, the strongest military arm within Cameroon. Gongo is in charge of that, meaning financially he has prepared himself, administratively he is preparing himself, militarily he is positioning himself to be at the forefront of taking up after Pobia. Should Pobia be declared dead today?
Eric.
All the maneuvering going on there is Gongo behind it.
Eric, okay, hold your line of thought there. Let's look at it the other way. Ayolo Mvondo is in Geneva with Bia all this time. And you and I know Ayolo Mvondo doesn't see eye to eye with Ngongo. And do you think Bia will be endorsing or appointing new generals who are friends or supporters of Ngongo, with Ayolo sitting right there and possibly he being the one passing the degree to Yaoundé to be announced? I want you to listen to this statement that a listener just sent here. He says, the army is preparing a coup that would land over power. The army is preparing a coup that would hand over power to Ngo. Appointments to ensure that once the coup is announced, the younger officers cannot resist. But what if it is the other way, that the military, this military is being reorganized to prevent an Ngongo coup?
Correct. That's I don't. Are you playing some? Are you playing an audio, or should I catch? Should I
No,
step
go
in
on,
after the
I'm not
audio?
playing audio. Go on.
Right. No, I was saying whoever has met that analysis there is right. You are right. Ayolo and Gongo doesn't see eye to eye. If you recall, or you must have seen recently, I think it was on Friday or Thursday, you saw Ferdinand Gongo hand in hand with Baboke.
Yeah.
Baboke is the handman of Chantal Biya, meaning that by default, he is in the other side of the camp. He is again, or he should, put it that way, be in the opposite camp to Ngongo. But whatever Ngongo wanted to portray to the nation by holding Baboke's hand and showing that we are together was a shit show. That was a cosmetic, that was window dressing to tell Cameroonians that there is peace amongst us. We are all in the same camp. The reality is they are not. Now the question of who then is authorizing this decrease that's appointing generals is an open-winded question, because you are right to think, could this be a move orchestrated and supported by Ayolo, Shantabia, and the Baboke to contain Ferdinand Gongo? Or is it actually Ferdinand Gongo who has gotten those powers to go ahead and appoint these people to back him for whatever thing he wants to do? This is an open question, and whoever phrased that question is absolutely right. It's a box which we don't know what will be coming out of it, because the truth is that Ayolo, Baboke, Shantabia are not in the same camp with Ferdinand Gongo. Now, who manages the presidential website? Who manages the Twitter website? It is Baboke. Baboke is the one managing those websites. He is the one managing the presidential tweet account or X account. If he is the right-hand man of Shantabia, then is it then normal? Is it then confirmed that this decrease we are seeing today, if published on the presidential website, are actually supported by Shantabia and the Ayolo? Let's keep Pobia out of this equation, because I don't think that old man even knows what is going on. I really don't think Pobia knows what is going on now in Cameroon. The game is between those around him, the Shantabia, the Ayolo, the Baboke, the Ngongo, and the rest. What these announcements actually mean is left to the scene in the days ahead. Cameroonians will know exactly what this is all about in the days ahead. Because remember, despite this noisemaker, this charlatan, you call him, is it Jean de Tchiroma, this minister, delegate, I heard him making comments earlier today, was it yesterday, that the timetable or the clock for Paul Biya should be extended to 20 years, because there is no constitutional clause that limits the number of days that Paul Biya can be away from the presidency. He was trying to invoke some clauses here, which I don't know where he invented them from, but he said it should be extended to 20 years, meaning that those counting 80 days or 60 days do not know what they are saying about. But again, this is in contradiction to the Minister of Communication, who came out openly the other day and said that time limit is 80 days. If Biya is not at the presidency after 80 days, it will be declared vacant. Jean de Tchiroma comes from nowhere and says 20 years. But as you all know, that's a clown and shouldn't be taken seriously. What I was saying is that whether 60 days or 80 days, the clock is ticking on Biya. If all what we are hearing from Switzerland is real, that Paul Biya has had 2 surgeries, one on the eye and one on the knee, and that the one on the knee has rendered him immobile, that he cannot walk, then there are 2 things Cameroonians should be expecting the days ahead. Either Paul Biya emerges from the plane on a wheelchair and is being wheeled to the presidency to continue ruling, or he stays there in Geneva indefinitely until whatever Ferdinand Gongo and the rest are cooking comes to the open. So he'll either be returning from Geneva on a wheelchair, which I guarantee you Cameroonians will accept him and nothing will happen. If Paul Biya emerges from Geneva on a wheelchair, he will continue ruling Cameroon, because Cameroonians have proven that they are okay to be governed even by Paul Biya's picture or just his image, as Comrade Sesiko said, that just his image alone in Cameroon today is enough to keep Cameroonians at bay. So whether he emerges from the aeroplane in a wheelchair, it's enough to maintain him in power. But the question is, the Paul Biya that we know, the proud man that we know, will he accept to leave Geneva on a wheelchair?
All right.
That's a question that we will keep open at this point.
Absolutely. Siseko, let me come to you. And after this, we'll open the phone lines. But Cameroonians, we ask, if Mr. Biya is able to stay in Geneva and sign decrees appointing or promoting new generals, why can't he, in the same guise, appoint his vice president? If actually he is the one doing that, right?
I am not an expert like Eric in dealing with allegations and speculations. I always work. I'm good when I see things, the things that, and where Paul Biya is today, I know that he has stayed in Geneva for a very long time, gone past the constitutional requirement, if that, because like I've said again, Paul Biya is the constitution of Cameroon. So he can stay for a year and still be able to make that law legal, and nobody would question him. What I know that is facing us today is that, and I know Eric might have listened, there are some of those people who make some of those speculations I just see and dismiss because it's too much overload. And what I know today is that something was cooking up when they made that constitutional amendment after the elections that we may say was stolen or was legally given to him. And then again, there might be something again that is bothering them from moving forward. We don't know exactly what it is. Cameroonians, like I always say, I always have a problem with American journalism, because American journalists, they have made, I think they have enabled Trump so much with always speculating what he's going to do next and all the like, and then he listens to them. And sometimes some of the actions even that he takes is because of what he learns or listens from them. So when people started talking about Frank Biya becoming the successor of the father, I just say, oh, these people are talking now because they have seen other people do it somewhere. They are trying now to put that into these people's head. I have never thought that Cameroonians would accept that. But like you and everybody else, when they made that move, Biya became president without any argument, although he was a dictator, but he was a man who was a respecter of the rule of law and constitutionality, Amadou Ahidjo. There was no ambiguity or any argument about the transition. And he became president. Now for 40-something years, this guy has made everything in that country so ambiguous that people just have to be second-guessing and speculating and all that kind of stuff. So lately, it was not they needed a Senate to say that when we did not have a Senate, they wanted to take it away from the Speaker of the House of Assembly. And then now it was the Senate, they created a Senate, it was supposed to be the president of the Senate. Now that was not enough because Biya probably did not like that. And then now again they say it was the constitutional amendment for a VP to be appointed so that they can it can take over from Paul Biya. We thought that it was coming to an end, and then that VP was going to be announced very soon. But it seems as if it is not something that is very clear to even they themselves, and they are wrestling with it. That's the way I look at it. Because if it was something that was very clear, by now we would have had that announcement. Maybe the person they are trying to bring forward might have met a roadblock even within their own center. I mean their own circles. So they are wrestling with that fact. So for me, I am focused more on that transition pillar that they put in place themselves of a vice president. And then for Biya, because we have set the bar so low for Paul Biya. Whenever 20 years, there are people who will swear that they saw Biya's corpse, that he was dead and they saw the corpse. Then Biya will just appear. That's the bar we set for him. then he was just appear and everything else would go away, and he becomes more force again, and he keeps on and all. So he has a grip on the country just the way Trump has a grip on the Republicans here in this country.
All right, that is a subject for another day, not on this show. Eric, do you have anything to add before we open the phone lines?
Yeah, I was just to confirm what Comrade Sesiko said there, because the fact that Cameroon is unable to have a government months after you had elections, which they stole, tells you
it's going to almost a year.
They do
just
not even know what.
2 months to a year, right?
Yep.
I didn't want to say a year. I just want to say months. I didn't want to say almost a year. Yeah, it tells you what exactly is going on there.
Yep.
Months after they introduced a very controversial amendment to the Constitution to create the post of a VP in a way to consolidate power, and they're still even unable to appoint that VP, tells you that they do not even know where they're heading to. They do not know what to do. There is confusion. The reason why there is no government and why there is no VP is because of that inter-clan war. You have multiple governments that have been created, one side presenting their own names and the other side presenting names. Because of that conflict, that's why Cameroon is unable to have a government.
True.
And that's just where the things are. Same with the VP position, which again confirms the fact that Paul Biya is not in charge. Paul Biya is not the one running that country.
All right. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Hang in there. The phone line is open. You want to call in and contribute to the show. We have just about 10 minutes left for that. So the phone number is there on your screen. Go ahead, call in, and let's know what is on your mind. And before you call, remember your phone. You have to turn down the volume of your set. If you are watching on TV, on the computer, make sure you turn down the volume of your set and focus on your phone when you call. Again, the phone line is right there on screen. And I remind you, our website is fully loaded with breaking news by the hour, and I literally mean by the hour. With the news on Africa, the world, Cameroon, Ambazonia, you will find it at absafricatv.com. And we are doing that 24/7 news by the hour. So you can get more developments from our website. All right, Sisiko, while we wait for the next 8 minutes or so, let me get back to you. I raised in my statement that I put out over the weekend the need and the urgent need in that matter for independencies to rally together. We've had so many organizations, so many groups. These people, their minds are at the right direction, but divisions, people, grandstanding, people who just want to be listened to be relevant, to be recognized. They stand on the way of unity. There is something that is called the Southern Cameroon Unity Platform, SCAUF. Today, I actually initiated that. But I essentially left it into their hands to run it. I didn't initiate it to run it, and I don't initiate anything just to lead it. Absolutely not. And I think people know that I don't speak from both sides of my mouth. If I say I'm not running it, I mean that I'm not running it. But we have so many, these groups out there. And I thought, given what we are seeing in La République du Cameroun as we discussed here, we knew this moment will come one day when we started this struggle. That moment is here when you see a possible military coup in La République du Cameroun, when you see a transition coming up and you don't know who is going to be the leader. We have Ambazonians who are fighting in the Cameroon army. They are not fighting because they love that country. They are fighting because they have no choice. This is such a moment we can reach out to them and say, hey, listen, this is the time to fight for homeland. But again, my problem is that we are not speaking with one voice. We all want independence, but we are not speaking with one voice. Isn't this the moment to come together? Forget leader this, president that, coordinator that, chairman that. At this moment, don't we need one organization that call the shots and raise the finances to pursue this moment? Sisiko.
We've always needed that moment, Comrade Chris. And I remember, how long ago did you initiate this CAUF? I know that we were at the initial meeting with you. You remember?
Yeah. It's going
how long ago?
I think it's probably going to about 7 or 8 months. Some people say it's going to 1 year, something like that.
Okay. We really need that, to tell you the truth. We really need that. And the problem with our groups is that whenever we start a group, we get a few people who take control and they don't want to listen to any other voice. SCAUF, I've been reading things. The forum that was created is one that only the admins can speak. So we only get information from those who are in the administration. We cannot give feedback until if you don't attend the meetings. So after I attended, I think, a few meetings, and then after like about a month ago, I think I clicked into one and realized that they are still in the same spot that we left, still arranging to build. So nothing had moved. So I don't know how we're going to get this thing back on track. But there's so much that has hit us that, like I come to your show, sometimes I come, you try to force certain things, we argue and all the like, but we are still in contact, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We are still in, that is what it takes. We are still in contact. There are many Ambazonians that you disagree with them, that you already put place in the dustbin, and you cannot even say something that they will listen to and all the like. That's the mentality we have to change. We have to develop a very healthy and competent emotional state in the way we relate to each other. And we should get off this thing of feeling like because we stand for Ambazonia, everybody else is irrelevant. Or we are stronger than everybody because we are talking Ambazonian. That's not true. That's not true. We need everybody. We need everybody. You talk about the military. In the 90s, there were commanders of the military who come to my apartment at night and talk to me. They will not want to be seen with me in the street and all. They will come and talk to me. If we had an alternative to offer, they would have been with us.
Yeah.
No, we
I
don't.
think that's exactly the point. Just imagine we rally ourselves together and look back home in the military in La République du Cameroon. These are certain things that we really cannot discuss here, but just imagine this is the time. This is the time because we know there are disgruntled army who back at home would want to say, you know what, I don't have to waste my life fighting for La République du Cameroon. But yeah, we talked about SCAUF.
Brother, it is unfair. It is really unfair and even evil for us to tell people to leave their jobs that they used to feed their families, that they used to sustain themselves, and everything to come to emptiness. Because that's what we're
again, that is the way you look at it. I don't look at it that way. Listen, Sisiko, you have been in this for as long as I have been in this. Nobody is paying you for that. Nobody is paying me for that. If somebody feels called to do exactly what we are saying, we're not forcing anybody to do that, right? Those boys in the
but Chris, I started this thing as a civil servant, which means that strategically I was being paid by the government to oppose them.
No, forget about those
So
days.
we
We're
should
talking
be
about now.
strategic that way.
We're talking about now.
Huh?
We're talking about now from 2016 when things escalated. Nobody is paying you. Nobody is paying me. Those boys in the bushes, nobody is paying them. They are volunteering. They are still eating. And so if you have people, if you have people within the Cameroon military that say, you know what, I'm not going to waste my blood fighting for this damn country. I will go and fight for Ambazonia. That's the opportunity we need. And if we can support those kind of people, everything is voluntary. We're not forcing anybody to lay down his job or his family and go to the bush.
You are making the point, Comrade Chris. If we were very organized, right?
Yeah.
If we were organized and sustained even the little bit that we were building together, like I always say this, if you take the outpour of resources that was coming to us, like just the filing of Sarko's government in 1998 with the IRS was 1,400,000, right? If we kept that momentum,
1998, 2018.
No, I meant 2018, just for that year, and just one group. I'm talking just on the official thing that was filed with the IRS.
Yeah.
The contributions that was coming financially from our people for just one group. There were other groups raising funds. It was 1,400,000. If we kept that momentum, if we kept that trust and that account, if we were accountable, we could have a budget of a country raising money all over the world to take care of our needs. You and I don't know about you, but every minute I get into a place that I can even become depressed with demands that are coming from people from prison, Boya prison. They are being told of people in Gandere prison, our people who are in Gandere and all those places. It's not easy. And you don't feel good when somebody is crying there that he has a boil here or is going to the hospital and you cannot be able to send even money for them to buy to get medication. So this is what I'm saying. If we were very organized, we would have structures that would provide food for people. The people who voluntarily and honestly want to fight for Ambazonia would not have to go and be harassing our people for food or for anything else. They will not go and be engaged in things that they shouldn't engage in. They will be well trained in a way that they will be fighters that are very morally upright in the way they engage in protecting their own people.
Yeah.
So we have failed in that. Now you've said Skaouf. If you think Skaouf is able to do that, let's bring it out and sell it.
Skaouf, as presently set up, cannot succeed, and this is the reason why. My initial idea of calling for it was because I realized that we tried collaboration for 4 or 5 years. It failed. We went to Cambodia, we went to Ghana, we went to the Philippines, we went to places just to talk collaboration sponsored by NGOs. For 4 or 5 years, it failed. And so I thought, how about we just regroup and look backward to when this thing was all set up like in the days of the Conclave, where every Tom and Dick came to the table and something interim government was put on the table. It has its problem. In fact, if you ask me, I won't go for the idea of interim government today, but at least it functioned for a while until greedy men and women came in and squandered such amounts of money that you are talking about here. But the idea that you can get all these leaders, grandstanding egos, relevance, claiming to come and work together, it has failed. We had another group called the Consultative Forum that was made up of the leaders and the stakeholders. It was the one that organized all these movements in Cambodia, in the Philippines, in Ghana, and all the places. It didn't work. So I thought, we cannot get all these leaders to come back and work together because everybody is coming with his own ego. And I thought, why don't we dissolve everything and start again and create what we call the coalition of the willing? Those who agree that it is time to regroup and create something that embraces engages everybody to come to the table. However, people came into SCAUF and said, let's form a leaders, I don't know what it's called. They created a strata of leadership in there, led by all the, to be controlled by all the leaders of different groups. And they don't have leaders of different groups in there. They refuse to join. And so the thing is dying down. So I really think...
Can I say something? Can I say something to you,
Yes,
Chris?
please, go on.
Even though it's been lean, if you and I come together and we make a commitment, rally about 100 or 200 of us, put together $50 or $100 every month, focus on humanitarian things, that would create and build that accountability, and it would stabilize things in a way that our people who are suffering, when they can touch us and we are helping them there, it spreads the news, and it would grow to the point where other people would see us being accountable and doing something that is right. Let me give you an example. As I'm talking to you now, Chris, no matter how people can disagree with me, one thing that I know, all of us, you see, you have us here talking, right? You build a platform that we have come to talk here, right?
Yeah.
That is your own gift that God has given you to contribute to the revolution, and you are using it well. I know that me as a Bini, since even from the 90s, people trust me on accountability and financial things, because I will never, even as we are talking now, a person will contact me from prison and say, oh, I have this problem and all that. Like, I'll pick up the phone and call about, say, some 3 people, and I'll get at least some $600 or $700 to send to help that people. And people give me that money without questioning, because they trust me. If I go to a position now that I destroy that trust that people have in me in that little thing, it's another puncture, another wound that I've created within our collective efforts. So what I'm trying to say is that if we come together for the small thing that is not that complicated, let's just agree that you and I, about 100 of us, 200, this humanitarian thing is so evil. We don't want to talk about arms because that gets us into trouble. That's not what we are doing. We are not the one. We are not promoting violence. Let's focus on humanitarian. A few of us put $100 or $200 or $50 every month, and we go to our people and help out. That grows into different areas. That's what I've been proposing. And I did that. I did that with the Cyber Country Sunday. I was doing that with Christmas every December. Every December I was doing Christmas in the refugee camps. When Karim Abdul was on the ground, I was working with him from Bamenda. When they burned down people's houses, we gave the people money. People have been in hospital that Karim Abdul has taken money from Cyber Country Sunday to go see them and take care of them. Those little things.
All right.
Because we are only talk, when we talk, people come and talk tough about guns and shooting and all that. That's not all about revolutions.
Yeah, of course not. We will talk about that in the background.
Sure.
Of course, you know this is not the right place. But listen, Eric lost connection. He is gone. Thank you for joining me on the show. Look forward to having you.
Are you thanking me?
I'm sorry?
Are you thanking me?
Thank you. I'm thanking you for joining the show.
But where's the video? The dancing video you were supposed to play. What's wrong with you?
Stay in
you are
there,
not keeping,
please.
You're not keeping your end of the bargain, man.
Oh, stay in there, please.
Of
Stay
course.
there.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you, Chris. You did well.
Hold on, don't go. That was you and Dr. Munzo. Where was that?
That was at, to tell you the truth, it was at the wake of, there's a guy they call Moses Nkwo, who used to be the Vice Secretary General of Cameroon Anglophone Movement. He worked for the American Embassy. That was at the wake of his wife, who died here in America.
I can't believe Dr. Munzo is that fleet-footed on the dancing floor.
The man almost beat me in the dancing. Only that I'm tough too, right?
Huh?
He almost beat me.
On his head, he is still Gen Z, but all of his body betrays him, I guess.
That's nice. Thanks, man.
All right. Again, thank you for coming on the show. We will talk in the background, sir.
Okay, do we have the link already?
Yes, it's there. Yeah, you will get the link.
All right, thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to call it a night here. Thank you for joining. I am having a very special guest. That guest has been on this show only once, and it's a woman. You don't want to miss the show on Wednesday.